Hi, welcome to Gadgets and Gravel, Chris Waddell. So I got a new video for you today. I'm out cutting firewood out here, and lately I've been cutting with a Husqvarna Power Axe 350 electric chainsaw, 18-inch bar, and I've also got a Greenworks 40-volt chainsaw that I've used for a while for some smaller items. But one thing when I'm cutting with those, I'll cut a little while until the battery gets low, then I'll stop, charge the batteries, and split some firewood that I got cut. How do I charge it when I'm in the woods? Right here. I've been using the Bluetti AC240P power station. Let me tell you some more about this. So this power station from Bluetti, it's a little bit bigger than what I really need. To be powering up some batteries for chainsaws, I don't need that much power, that much capacity. But, you know, if I can have it, why not have it? It's also gets used for a lot of other things than just this. But the reason that I bring this power station with me when I do cut firewood, I need to be charging things or running power tools when I'm out and around my property, especially things like camping. The reason this is my go-to for those kind of things, if I know I'm gonna have it out where it can get dirty and dust is flying around, maybe even get water on it or something like that, it's because this power station is IP65 water resistant. So when we think about our cell phones being water and dust resistant, usually they're IP67 or 68. Those things are smaller, they're gonna get submerged. So that's where that 8 number comes in on that IP68. It's the depth of water and the amount of time you can spend in that water. This is IP65, so you still get that 6 rating, which is your dust and debris protection. And then the 5 is means it's gonna be water resistant to a point of, you don't get some mist on a little bit of rain, it's not gonna be submerged. So that's why this goes with me when I'm outdoors. All right, let's get into some of the details about what this power station can do. I'll list on the side of the screen over here the specs and things like that as far as capacities and outputs and that kind of stuff. Put that over here on the side of the screen. Feel free to pause it so you can, really take that in. But let's run through some of the things that the Bluetti AC240P can do. All right, so right here, it's got a capacity of 1,843 watt hours. So you got a pretty good level of power capacity to run for a long time or a few large items for a shorter period. It's got a max output of 2,400 watts to the AC outlets. These are your normal wall outlets like you have in your house. That's pure sine wave power, so you're safe to run any modern electronic devices through this because of that. But it has what's called a powerlifting mode, which will boost that all the way up to 3,600 watts for short periods of time for things like a space heater or, a small compressor that may kick on. Sometimes those need additional power to start up with. So that powerlifting feature is very important for those types of items. Again, IP65 water resistant and dust resistant, not waterproof, water resistant for sprays and little mist and maybe some dew in the morning if you've been left out camping. Very important to remember. But you got DC output here. You got a 12 volt 10 amp and a 12 volt 30 amp outputs here. All of these different types of power outputs are individually controlled. So if you don't need DC, you just don't even turn it on. USB right here. You've got 2 USB-C and 2 USB-A. Your USB-C are rated at 100 watts. So that's gonna be nice for getting things like laptops charged up with enough power. So this will be good for that. And USB-A, you're rated at, these are standard USB ports. Those are gonna be at 18 watts. Over here on AC, like I said, we've got our 2 AC outlets here. They're gonna be 120 volts. That's that 2,400 watt output, boosting to 3,600 with the power lift mode. This also has a 30 amp outlet that is rated for plugging in things like campers and RVs and vans. That's what's great for that. You can come right out of this directly into your camper, and it works great for that type of stuff. Let's get into some of the input options. All right, so for input, the great thing about this, you've got a lot of different input options. You can input over DC, so like your car socket in your vehicle. You can input through a wall outlet with AC power and through solar. Through your AC input, you can handle up to 2,200 watts of AC input. It can be boosted if you went ahead and hooked up 2 of these AC240Ps together, because it can be linked in parallel with another primary unit. If you do that, you can boost it up to 4,800 watts. That would also boost your output to 4,800 watts through AC power. Fun fact there. But you can also connect this to expandable batteries. There's a port on the other side of this where you can expand it with additional battery packs. So you'd have one primary unit. Sorry, I thought something was crawling behind me out here. but you can expand it with a, keep this one primary unit and then just expand the capacity with additional batteries. All the cables for this, they're proprietary, so you can't just use any cable. But the great thing is they do connect in here really well and lock in, so they're not gonna wiggle loose, which is gonna be great, especially for a device that you're gonna have outdoors where you might worry about dust and things like that, which is why this would be a good one for you. So having those ports continuously covered and then having a locking connection to those is a great idea. All the cables for your DC, solar, and AC are included with the kit. So the battery technology that you're getting with the Bluetti AC240P is lithium iron phosphate. None of that lead acid battery from the old style of chargers that used to be out there. So if you're unfamiliar, these lithium iron phosphate batteries is kind of what they're using in electric vehicles these days. So they have a better energy density and a smaller footprint. They do tend to be a bit heavier than a typical battery of equal capacity if you're looking just like a typical lithium ion battery. But with that, you get better recharge rates on them. So this one's rated at 3,500 charges when you're going from 0 to 80%. 80% is a typical charge rate if you're storing the battery for long periods of time. It also charges fast. Something I didn't mention when we were talking about inputs is this thing can go from 0 to 100 at max charge rate in about a little over an hour and a half, about 70 minutes. So that's a good thing about it too. So speaking on that being a little bit heavier, this is about 72 pounds. So it is not a light thing to carry around. It's manageable. It does not have wheels. It does have two good sturdy handles on the side though. So something to keep in mind, depending on how you plan on using this. So with that, we're getting the lithium iron phosphate battery. And with this also, Bluetti does have an app that will connect to this, which lets you control a few different features within it. There are 3 different charge rates for this. There's a silent, a standard, and a turbo. So it's gonna kind of depend on how fast you need it to charge. Charging it turbo all the time can degrade the battery a little bit faster. So it's better if you can charge it in either silent or standard mode. If you're just kind of recharging every now and then, if you need it in a hurry, obviously jump into turbo mode. The silent, standard, and turbo mode also are going to affect the fan speeds. So there are fans inside this to keep the unit cool when you're using it. So if you're charging it faster, it's going to generate more heat, so it's going to be a little bit louder. So it's something to keep in mind with that as well. With the terms of temperatures, this is rated to be able to be used down to negative temperatures. I believe -12, I'll confirm that over here on the side, and all the way up to 114, I believe. Again, confirm that on the side. All right, well, I guess that's about it. I better get back to cutting more firewood. So this is the Bluetti AC240P. Again, great power station. I do wish it had a few more AC outlets. That would be nice, a few more options there. Otherwise, I really like this power station. It's got a good output rate. It's got good capacity. It charges fast. The IP65 water and dust resistance obviously is a great thing, especially when you're out and about with it. If you're gonna be using it for power tools outside, dust and things flying, out in dirt and nature, if you're camping, surprise rainstorms pop up, this will be all right as long as you grab it before it sits out there for too long. Definitely don't let it fill up. Anyways, if you have any questions on this, definitely leave a comment down there. Plan on having some more power stations in the future to cover. Again, Chris Waddell, Gadgets and Gravel.